Hi, and welcome to the Access Direct Opening Bell, your essential pre-market podcast. In just minutes, get key global updates, overnight trends, and market-moving factors that set the tone for the day. Whether you're a seasoned trader or just someone tracking the markets, this is your go-to briefing to stay ahead at all times. So let's dive straight in. Good morning. It is Thursday, and we will start with a summary of what happened in the US markets, where stocks ended lower with the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100 finishing 1.1% and 1.8% down respectively. The VIX rose for the first day in 6. The dollar and the 10-year treasury yield went up slightly. Bitcoin ended down while gold ended flat. Oil inched closer to $70 a barrel as supplies from the US tightened. Coming to the Indian markets, the rupee recovered from its early session lows and finished slightly higher at 85.72. Meanwhile, India's 10-year benchmark yield fell to 6.6%, which was its lowest level in 3 years, on increasing hopes of an April rate cut. Coming to stocks, the Nifty ended its 7-day winning run yesterday, finishing 182 points lower at 23,487. The India VIX dropped for a second day as the demand for protection went missing. Broader indices like the NSE 500, small caps and mid caps also fell. Brent was firmly negative as nearly 80% of stocks in the NSE 500 declined. The best and worst performers in the Nifty were IndusInd Bank, which gained 2.9%, and NTPC, which fell 3.4%. Resistance of the Nifty for the day lies between 23,640 and 23,720. While support is expected to kick in between 23,402 and 23,275. Talking sectors, 11 of the 12 NSE sectors finished down. Media fell 2.4%, while autos rose 0.02%. In foreign flows, foreigners invested around 2240 crores yesterday, sending the month-to-date outflow number to 4,700 crores. With yesterday's inflow, foreigners have invested money into domestic stock markets for 5 straight days now. Speaking derivatives, the Nifty's put-call ratio went from 1.04 to 0.92, while that of the Bank Nifty went from 1.03 to 0.83. Nifty calls were added and puts were unwound, while implied volatility rose, which meant that people stayed bullish. Options expiring today show a trackable range of 23,000 to 23,800. With the 23,600 call strike seeing significant addition and the 23,000 put strike seeing notable unwinding. Talking net index options positioning, foreigners and prop traders remained bearish while retail investors were bullish. Foreigners net shorts and index futures fell another 7,000 contracts to 83,000 contracts. In stock-specific updates, Adani Power, HUDCO and Vedanta were at horizontal support, while Go Digit Insurance and JustDial were at trendline support. IRCTC, Motherson and GMDC were at horizontal resistance, while Deepak Fertilizer and Pidilite were at trendline resistance. Speaking market breadth, 48%, 26% and 19% of stocks in the NSE 500 were above their 50, 100 and 200-day moving averages. Looking ahead to today's session, the GIFT Nifty was down 35 points at 7 a.m. Asian markets and US index futures were also in the red. Initial jobless claims and quarterly GDP data will be released from the US later in the day, and that sums up the day's podcast. Please note that this podcast serves solely for informational purposes and should not be considered financial advice of any kind. For a comprehensive disclaimer, please visit our website. Thank you, and we will see you tomorrow at the same hour. Good day and take care.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.